We are the Catalan Independentist Resistance, and you are listening to a new update from Radio Hadrian in Free Catalonia.
Good afternoon, this is chapter 82. In Radio Hadrian, this chapter we want to dedicate to Maria Lluïsa Pazos, our companion in the Catalan resistance who passed away last Christmas Day. She excelled in poetry. She set up human rights prizes, and she did documentaries, and she made a very relevant book to try to avoid Catalan language being marginalized. So this program is for her. These 2 weeks without program have been important for the Catalan resistance. We've been presenting the teaser of the documentary The Lie, which is going to change history in Catalonia, because those of you listening to this program know that in Catalonia we've been lied to. So this is the first documentary to tell the truth as it is. And I'm a proud member of the team making that happen. And it also talks about the Scottish referendum rigging in a way I don't know it's been done in Scotland yet. So we're very happy that about 50,000 people have seen both teasers in Catalan and Spanish. We're trying to find ways to make the teaser in English as well. This week we're picking up. We are doing this meetings with the people listening to this program every 2 Wednesdays. We pick it up. But it was central for us to, when we made the summary of year 2018, that's the year we really realize we're going to make independence happen. In year 2018, Catalan resistance consolidated this program, set up a political party called Director 68, had a banner flying twice with an airplane over Catalan beaches, started doing conferences in 6 different towns. We are going to carry on doing this. We had lots of interviews, or a few interviews, in alternative media. We had the 11th of September where we had a lot of people with us. We have grown in numbers and in quality. We started a direct question and answer every Monday. You're welcome to join. If you have any question in English, you're very welcome. And we presented the teaser for the documentary. We planned a radio station in Catalan. An amazing year. We started international relations. We did so many things in a year. We really hope that things pick up in Scotland. We don't see things happening the way we would love them to in Scotland, because you need to wake up to the fact that those you love, mainly the SNP, work for the enemy. Without that realization, you don't stand a chance. In Catalonia, a set of circumstances have made us realize that our leaders work for the other side, and our international relationships and our observations have let us know that it's the same case both with Nicola Sturgeon and Alex Salmond and Jerry Adams as well. The 3 of them work for London. And Otegi, Puigdemont, Junqueras, Torra, they work for Madrid. And as hard as it is, we need to wake up to that fact, because otherwise there's no independence. So this week I'd like to talk about the Alex Salmond issue, a bit about Brexit, about Andy Murray, non-news in Catalonia to keep people distracted, how the Catalan resistance is being attacked 3 ways, a couple of things about 2 of the guys that are supposed to be in prison, which I've known since 1990, and it's taken me 25 years to realize they don't work for independence. So we start with it. About the Alex Salmond victory on the issue against Scottish government, it's always an issue that is complicated, this thing, because we persons are several things. We are for independence, but we might also be of a certain religion. We have a gender. we are sometimes football fans. We have a lot of characteristics with us. And this theme, it's easy. It's hard, because I remember having read in Facebook, and I realized that we cannot put our nationalistic or our pro-independence factors ahead of everything. So we need to respect not the way it's being done in Spanish state sometimes, where every man is suspect of everything, and there's laws that have been challenged for being against Constitution. But we need to put in place that somebody that decides to challenge somebody, we should be very careful how we balance things. But in this thing, we live in this world where things are not even clear. Never. Some sources, or this Leslie Evans, permanent secretary, says that it was only one aspect that was granted to Alex Salmond. But then you have tweets from Angus Brendan McNeil, not somebody who's for independence, as we have shown in previous programs, but anyways, saying that only one point was granted because Scottish government fell at the first fence, so the others were not seen. So if they cannot even agree on something where everybody should be agreeing, can you imagine? But the question is how we need to be able to think the unthinkable. It's so easy, it's so not difficult to say, oh, that was a plot to make Alex Salmond look bad, and it's a British-inspired plot. I've read that. Well, sadly, when you read the book about the 100 Days to the Referendum, the dream will never end, or you realize how they let the Scottish referendum be rigged, or how he quit accepting defeat too early, or how he interviews New World Order moles like Torra or Puigdemont. When you're not blinded by faith, you know that Alex Salmond works for London. He has impeded independence. No matter how vocal he might seem to want it, but by signing the Edinburgh Agreement, by letting the referendum be rigged, and him and Nicola Sturgeon by not declaring unilateral declaration of independence, they are the biggest traitors in the recent history of Scotland, the same way as the people in prison or Carles Puigdemont are the biggest traitors in contemporary history in Catalonia. We have to grow up to that. So the possibilities are wider. This could be a plot to attack Salmond if it wasn't that Salmond worked for them. So then it could also be that it was a normal case and London has moved to clear Salmond. Or there's a third scenario, that everything was planned to make him come out as a hero. We have examples of that. They infiltrated Julian Assange and his fake WikiLeaks. He has been promoted because the two women that have sued him for rape or statutory rape is something related to not using a condom that can be assimilated to rape. It's not like the first idea you get about rape, okay? But these two women have such obvious links to the CIA that he comes out a hero. That's exactly how the CIA would make things if they wanted to make him a hero. If the CIA wants to make somebody a hero, is because he is the country. Here, we could be talking about the same. I'm not affirming it, but that's the analytical way our brain should work. But something has come to my attention today as I was preparing this program, which is and offers two different approaches which are relevant, because one clarifies this thing I've said. This Leslie Evans was corrupt in a very indignified way in the Council of Edinburgh back in 1992. It's a bit peculiar, and I'll try to explain myself. It's very fine to be born in Northern Ireland, to be raised in England, and then at this very decisive point in the history of Scotland, having this very top place in Scottish civil service. The problem it brings, because it's similar to what happens in Catalonia. There's a lot of people from Catalan-speaking Valencia which have very relevant places in Catalan television or media. And that is fair except for one thing. Almost everybody else running the Catalan process, we know for a fact they're traitors and moles, because we studied with them and we know who knows who, and we have a lot of evidence. When you have somebody who has studied outside your field of knowledge, infiltration becomes so much easier. So somebody born in Northern Ireland, grown up in England, and then being placed at the top place in Scotland at this peculiar moment in history should raise some eyebrows. But the thing that I read the story, it was something about 4 different non-profit organizations that were at the thriving moment helping people to put up videos and do things in audiovisuals. And this Leslie Evans, the very same Leslie Evans who's now permanent secretary, I think it's the name, that the top civil servant, being paid by the tune of £165,000 a year, which is not bad. She forged. There were some reports done by an independent advisor, but she decided to corrupt things against one of the 4 organizations. So she manipulated tremendously the report this person, John Adams, made. That is so much so that now, 26 years after that, he made a statement saying that his report has nothing to do with what Leslie Evans did, which brings 2 important points. I imagine they've been raised in Scotland, because we have our hands so full in Catalonia that we cannot follow Scotland as much as we would want. We do it in the certainty that the independence of Catalonia, that I belong to the people that will declare, is helping Scotland so much. And on the other hand, I have hung a strike for Scotland, which is not something a lot of people can say. So I hope that gives me some credit points still. But it offers 2 relevant things. One is what I said. How obvious this was that this would come out. So it seems what I said. It seems like an obvious plot to make Salmond look a hero. Because this thing, it's not something that you can possibly nowadays keep secret. So this thing of this blatant, if it's true, I've read it. I haven't had time to double check it. So because this was VAC. And you can find it about something about fake news or something like this. Okay. So the first one is it too blatant, and has all this been done to either promote Alex Salmond or to sanify some tiff between Nicola Sturgeon and Alex Salmond? They need to break up the SNP. The SNP cannot forever be in government and not deliver independence. I mean, you can only lie to people for a time, not forever. So at a certain point, we commented with Delia some time ago that they will try to find ways to disrupt the SNP, because the SNP cannot be running Scotland and not declare independence forever. All these people talking about the big picture and the long game, they can only say this nonsense for a certain time, but not forever. But the second is something that I guess should be raising some issues in Scotland. How can Nicola Sturgeon appoint somebody so obviously and blatantly not up to the job. Somebody who's corrupt tremendously at the lower level, and if you find the story, you'll see how she was publicly rebuked, which is something that is not very common. How these people fought for their rights. Something that if it had been managed in the same way for the Scottish referendum, things might have changed a bit. Putting pressure and these things being changed, though she took revenge against this organization, and in the end, there were other funds. But to take funds out of this organization to divide it between other three, one of the three benefited was run by the brother of her partner or something. So this kind of thing that makes you puke. How somebody who had, everybody must know this, or you need to know this. How can you put somebody so corrupt as Leslie Evans in charge of civil service in Scotland? That's reason enough for Nicola Sturgeon to step down. Of course, her fans wouldn't hear of it. We mentioned the name of the pop star #1 in Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, the one that signed the Edinburgh Agreement, the one that doesn't declare independence, the one that's a member of the Queen Council, the one by some mystery, maybe not mystery, maybe it's fluoride in water, chemtrails, and some sort of waves. I cannot for the life of me understand how people can believe Nicola Sturgeon is ever going to deliver independence. But anyways, the question is that my sources say that she is pushing for a second referendum about Brexit. The question is, someone said, oh, but if Brexit is voted again and then it's a stay, that goes against independence because it has been linked one thing with the other. Well, that's the whole plan. Step 1, referendum in Scotland, presided by the SNP. Number 2, apparently Brexit succeeding in 2016, but only apparently because it was a farce. It was never meant to end then. Then Nicola Sturgeon linking second referendum, though we should know by now that referendums never bring independence, to a bad Brexit. If now there's a second Brexit referendum, stay would be the winning option. So then independence is dead. And the New World Order has managed, against all apparent odds, because they always have the odds, because they always win, almost always win, to keep United Kingdom together and keep European Union together. So two birds with one stone, but several stones. But they saved the two birds, and that's why, that's the whole plan. And people still keep thinking about, because it's the same thing in Catalonia. This game is not for everybody at this moment. We're just targeting natural leaders. This is a psyop war. This is a psychological war. How many people get elected to the secret services of a country? 1 in 10,000? Well, then the people who's not 1 in 10,000 is not capable of accepting that Nicola Sturgeon and Alex Halvan sold you. So now we are targeting the top 1 in 1,000, the top 1 in 10,000 people. That means several thousand people in Catalonia, several thousand people in Scotland. Those are the ones that are going to lead the revolution. The rest is not ready to accept that Sturgeon, Salmond, Torra, Puigdemont work for the other side. But that's what they do. That's what the system does. The system does things that they can make, but they are so huge. We learned that from Goebbels. We learned that from Edgar J. Hoover, the initiator of the FBI. To succeed in lying to people, you have to manufacture a lie that is so big that they cannot believe it's a lie. That's how it goes, and that's what's going on. Scotland independence is all by dead now if it's not revived by some new players. Related to this, to a minor tone, there's been news as well. This week, Andy Murray, twice Wimbledon winner, twice gold medal in Olympic Games in tennis, has decided to step down after Wimbledon, but maybe the Australian Open might be his last tournament because of pain in his hip that doesn't let him play normally. This is not a sports thing, but Alex Murray is a Barca fan. He grew up in Barcelona from 15 to 18. That's one reason to briefly mention him. I have to say I quite like the guy. Saw him being interviewed immediately after, or some short time after, he won his second gold medal, and he was interviewed as, "You are the first person to win the Olympic medals in tennis," and he said, "As far as I know, both the Williamses have 4 each or something." That's not only something which is fair and dignified, but being able to do something that fair and dignified against yourself, but in a moment of tension when being a bit more selfish or unfocused could be acceptable, that really puts me well with Andy Murray, and we really wish him that he can find a way to live without pain. I mean, he's considering having another operation. That wouldn't be for playing again, but for having a painless life. So I wish you all the best. But the third reason for speaking about Andy Murray is because you know that the same day of the referendum, he came out with a tweet saying, "Let's do this." A tweet that he has regretted after that, not his position for independence, but his tweet, yes. We would stay at this point if we were mainstream radio, which we are not because we don't have the numbers, but mainly because we tell the truth. We would stop at that, but we are not. Supporting a referendum that was doomed to be rigged doesn't amount to support independence. If Andy Murray really wants independence, he should be telling the truth that he cannot not know that the referendum was rigged with the help of Scottish government, because otherwise it couldn't have happened. That's what somebody who's for independence would do. And I'm not saying he has to, because I respect every choice. But making a tweet just makes you ingratiate you with Scottish people and not with British people. But it was never meant to happen. It's not like it could have changed things because the votes were already counted. The votes were already counted. You know what Stalin said? It's not the votes that count, but who counts the votes. You know, the barcodes, the betting, the postal votes, everything, the non-exit polls, everything tells us of one of the biggest massacres in polls ever in Europe. Thus, as you see, quite a focused in Scotland program. Last things we want to say is we're being attacked here, the Catalan resistance, by 3 ways. Some newspapers attack our positions without naming us. Then the fake independentists have created some new parties to try to avoid people reaching us. And you have some panelists or journalists getting closer to our positions but not going all the way to try to avoid people reaching us. On top of that, trolls attacking us in social media, so it's a perfect storm, which means that they're scared. This was never meant to happen. In Catalonia, as in Scotland, everything after 300 years is run by Spain. Thus, when I started my hunger strike, they decided to murder me, pushing me to suicide, to torture me chemically, to avoid nobody managing to break this. But thanks to Delia and to Delia Forrest and to Gerard Aimee and to Luis Botinas and thanks a lot to Cheryl Scott by giving us this door. There's a few followers of the English version, but you don't imagine there's several thousand people following this program in the Catalan version. This program in the Catalan version has been the door that people that are some of the 68 or more people that will declare independence in the next year or so have been mobilized, have joined the resistance due to the Catalan version of this program. This program, thanks to Delia Forrest and Cheryl Scott, is changing the history of Catalonia, because we are telling the truth that nobody else in Catalonia is saying. That's why we can never be thankful enough to Ràdio, to Cheryl Scott, to Delia Forrest, for making this program that is changing history in Catalonia. And after that, we hope we'll collaborate to change history in Scotland. We can never emphasize enough the importance of this program. Please help us share this program in groups or in Twitter. We need a bigger follow-up. In the English version, we are quite happy with the Catalan version. Also, the Spanish version is being aired in another radio station, and it served us to get some interviews, both the Catalan and the Spanish. We would like to have a higher follow-up to make it worth to Ràdio to keep this space for us and for us. As you know, and as you notice, English is not my language. So help us grow this version, please. It's been nice to be with you again, though difficult, because we've lost so many people this winter. We've lost a lot of parents of our membership, but losing Maria Luisa has been hard. And we really need to push this so we stop losing people in this fight. We are winning, we're gonna win. Saura Luba Gubra, Visca Catalunya Lliure.
This has been another update from the Catalan Independentist Resistance from Radio Hadrian. Remember that you can follow us on social media, either on Facebook, YouTube, our Twitter account, Instagram, Google, Telegram, and also on iVoox.
El 13 de setembre de 2009, el poble de Catalunya, amb total indiferència dels partits regionalistes, decideix organitzar una consulta popular sobre la independència. L'èxit és esclatant, 70% a favor de la independència. Espanya se sent amenaçada. Les consultes, sense partits polítics, són l'expressió de la sobirania del poble català, que Madrid no té sota control. Els partits regionalistes catalans es fan independentistes. Creen l'ANC, l'Assemblea Nacional Catalana, per agrupar l'independentisme popular de les consultes. La Mentida. 11 de setembre de 2012. El poble de Catalunya es manifesta amb més de 2 milions de persones a Barcelona amb un crit únic i unànime: Independència. Els anys següents es fan 6 manifestacions milionàries més, amb el crit únic i unànime: Independència. La Mentida. 9 de novembre de 2014. Els catalans són cridats a un referèndum per la independència que acaba sent una simple consulta no vinculant. Malgrat això, el resultat és un esclatant 80,91% per la independència. 27 de setembre de 2015. Les eleccions al Parlament de Catalunya es plantegen com a plebiscitàries. Els partits regionalistes, ara independentistes, guanyen les eleccions amb 72 diputats, més de la majoria absoluta, però incompleixen la promesa electoral i no fan cap declaració. 14 de febrer de 2016. Mor Muriel Casals, una de les líders independentistes en circumstàncies no aclarides, en ser atropellada per una bicicleta. La Muriel exigia als 72 diputats la declaració unilateral que havien promès. 3 de maig de 2016. L'activista independentista DavidRaventos es declara en vaga de fam per exigir la declaració unilateral d'independència i és obligat per la força a trencar la vaga de fam. Un jutge espanyol ordena el seu tancament a un psiquiàtric on és torturat químicament durant 2 mesos. La Mentida. 1 d'octubre de 2017 es convoca un altre referèndum. La policia espanyola assalta els col·legis electorals. Tanmateix, la victòria és aclaparadora amb un 90,18% pel sí a la independència. Incomprensiblement, el 10 i el 27 d'octubre de 2017, els diputats del Parlament de Catalunya responen fent dues falses declaracions d'independència.
I amb la mateixa solemnitat, el govern i jo mateix proposem que el Parlament suspengui els efectes de la declaració d'independència.
El govern espanyol respon aplicant l'article 155 de la Constitució en lloc del 116, que és el que pertocaria en cas d'una declaració autèntica, i fan presonar els líders catalans malgrat no hagin fet cap acte delictiu, perquè les declaracions són simbòliques i sense cap tipus d'efecte jurídic. Escòcia va perdre la independència amb un referèndum trampa. Ara els líders catalans, abans regionalistes i ara independentistes, demanen permís a Espanya per fer un referèndum a Catalunya, com el d'Escòcia. La Mentida, el documental de la veritat.